your mind's reaction is to another for you. Here's the law of love and attraction. I'll show you what I can do. You know you find a result now. You know just what to...
Once you've picked all your rosellas, bring them inside, pop them in a big bowl, and before we make a jam, we're going to have to split them into two. So this is the remainder of the flour, the dirty little bits, you won't need those. You'll need to break apart the calyx, or the red outer side of the rosellas. Pop them in one container. In the other container you'll need the nuts, the central part. So they're pretty easy to push apart. They do make your fingers really red, so if you want to wear gloves, go ahead. This is a job for night. Oh, you can rope your kids into doing it. They'd love it. They love going pink. Now you've got your rosellas separated into the calyx and also the nuts. You've got them in two separate bowls. We take them over to the sink and give them a bit of a wash. So just make sure they're lovely and clean. And you can drain the water off in a sieve. I've already given these one wash. I'd probably wash them through 2 or 3 times before we're finished. So they'll be ready to go straight in. And then we wash the nuts as well, because these will be the first part of the jam that you'll do. We'll need to boil these up. Some of the nuts, I'll show you some, bit like a mouldy end to them. That's where they've been open to the air, and also because of the rain, they've gone a little bit mouldy. So I usually leave them out. So our nuts are all washed and clean. And we'll pop them into the pan. So place water on the top until these are just covered. So we're just covering them. You don't want to put too much water in there, maybe a little bit more. And we'll boil those for 20 minutes. Our nuts have been boiling for that 20 minutes. It's now time to get them off the stove. And we will move them over to the sink area. Now, because I have the pressure cooker trivet already in here, I can just lift the nuts out and they'll drain off. You may need to put a strainer in a jug and then just tip the liquid off, but this is probably the easiest way to do it. So I'll just drain the nuts up. This is it now. Discard these. We'll actually put them in the compost. Then you're left with the liquid, and also you've still got your calyxes here. So we'll be able to put the calyxes into the pot. So we'll tip the liquid off. Put the calyxes in. We're just going to cook these for enough time to make them actually just a little bit soft. So we've got quite a few there. Tip your liquid in. They boil down really quickly, so here we go. give them a, tip the liquid on, back onto the stove. You may need to add a little bit more water. We'll just start with this, and as long as it's not burning the bottom of the saucepan, you're right. Boiling, you'll notice how quickly those calyxes soften. So it won't take you long to get them all nice and soft. So just keep an eye on it at this stage so it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. We'll keep it up at boiling temp. Let them get nice and soft. The calyx are now softened, as you can see there. Nice soft looking appearance. We're going to switch it off, and we're now going to measure how much of this lovely gooey red juice we have, and it's beautiful. The colour is amazing and the smell is incredible. I'll just give that a rinse out because we had the nut juice on it. So tip this in carefully. Don't get splashed by it, it's really hot, sticks to your skin. So carefully pour that into your jug. Looks like we've got seven cups of jam, which will mean it's around about 7 cups of sugar, but I'd probably put in a little bit less. So for this one, we'll put in maybe six cups of sugar, which seems a huge amount, but that's what jam's all about. It's all about sugar. Around 6 cups of sugar there, just a little bit shy. And we will also add 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, which is what it's on the recipe, but we didn't have any lemons, so we'll be putting in 1 tablespoon of lime juice per cup of Rosella. So I will just squeeze these lovely fresh limes and we'll add that in. We've got the 7 cups of Rosella. I used a little bit less sugar because I'm not real big on the sweet. So we've got 6 cups of sugar, and we're going to add the 1 tablespoon of lime juice for each cup of Rosella. So there'll be 7 of these going in. Return your jam to the heat, then you can start adding your sugar. So the lime juice is already in there. We'll add sugar, a small amount at a time, and stir. It's a bit rocky. So I'll pop in some. Usually put it in fairly slowly, it gets rather sticky. And you really need to keep an eye on it because you don't want it to burn. So I might just put the heat down slightly till this is all melted. Sugar going in now, nearly at the end. It's rather sticky. So we're going to scrape the bowl out, pop all of that sugar in. So adding it slowly is the best way, then you can get it really mixed in well. You don't want any lumps of sugar congealing at the bottom of your pan. Now, there's a bit of 2 ways of doing things, or 2 schools of thoughts. Most people might like to use just the pectin in the nuts and the pectin in the lemons to help the jam set. But I've had too many failures, so I always seem to add some jam sets. That last bit of sugar I'll pop in almost a packet of jam set. Actually, you might put the packet in here. We'll go packet of jam set in that one and stir well. Then we'll bring it back up to rapid boil. Boil it for around 5 minutes, and you can see we're still getting a little bit of chunky Rosella in there, which is really, really lovely on your toast. So turn up the heat, got it all stirred in, and let's bring it back up to boil. Okay, that's coming nicely to the boil. So what we'll do, we'll leave that boiling for around 5 minutes, but don't let it go over the top. You might need to turn the heat down slightly and stir for a little while. Just let a bit of heat out, because it will actually rise and come over the top of your pan. That's why when you're making jam, always use a nice deep pan. We've had our jam on the boil for about 5 minutes. If you've got too many chunky bits at the top, you can always boil it down a little bit more. So you can have a plate in the freezer, get that really cold, and you just pop a little bit of jam on it, so it's hot jam, scoop it out, drizzle it on, leave it to sit for a little while. Once the jam's on the plate, it'll cool for a little while, and then you can tell whether it's going to be still runny or it's actually about the right consistency. That looks pretty good. Sometimes you can run a knife through and get it to follow the knife, and you see it's not filling it back up again. So that's actually pretty good. Should set up really nice. Once you feel you've got your right consistency of jam, then you can remove it from the heat. Allow it to cool slightly, and then we're going to fill our jars. We use this amazing jam filler tool. It's by Kilner, and we actually bought this one from a small gardening place called Green Harvest, and they're online, so hopefully they'd still have some. When the jam's a little bit cooler, you can fill your jars. That's why this little tool's so good. You can work out where you can fill it to. So it's nice chunky Rosella jam. Fill almost to the top. And obviously we recycle our jars, seal it up when it's nice and hot, and I pop that in the fridge overnight to cool, and then tomorrow you can take it out, you can store it in the cupboard, but I usually refrigerate it to make sure it's nice and cool the first day. Anyway, that's all from me today. I hope you've enjoyed Rosella jam making, and enjoy Rosella jam on your toast. It's the most amazing stuff you can eat. And if you would like to, please like this video and share this video and subscribe to our channel. That would be great. Thank you so much for watching.
Baby, it's up to you, you gotta choose.